Good afternoon and welcome to our lunch and learn around the collaborative investigation inside our health and movement science syllabus. So today we're going to uncover what you can do to develop a rock solid approach to the collaborative investigation in Year 11 for health and movement science, because I know that for some of you, you're slightly freaked out about this. Rest assured that I've got your back. I will provide my 20 years of experience in CAFs, in research, facilitating research in a classroom of busy students who are doing multiple things. And today I'm going to share with you my insights and my approach and my thinkings around the collaborative investigation. Now, I've been talking about this a lot with our health and movement science members. And even just last night in our HMS bootcamp, we had a discussion, a really rich discussion about the collaborative investigation. Let's call it CI. Can we call it CI? No, let's just call it collaborative investigation until we get used to it. We can then give it an acronym later. But I think it's really timely to think about this as we develop our scope and sequences, as we develop our assessment schedules, because it's going to shape what our classrooms look like for next year. So let's first of all start off where to find support for the collaborative investigation. Right here is one way. You can come and join us inside the Health and Movement Science membership. We are open for registration and we are up to 51 teachers or 52 teachers inside our HMS membership. And look, if you followed me a long time in my CAFS experience, everything I did when I presented to HSC in the holiday sessions back in the day, my work with other organisations across New South Wales, think of that on steroids. A one-day workshop, I don't think it cuts it anymore. You need ongoing support, and that's literally what I provide inside our membership. And having access to resources, teaching and learning activities, templates, literally everything you need to literally implement and teach in the classroom next year. So first of all, let's work out where else we can get support. On the NESA website, on the curriculum website, we have a whole heap of documents on there, and I shared this last night with our HMS bootcamp teachers. So we have a formal assessment notification sample, which is great, a unit of work for the collaborative investigation, because remember, it's 20 hours of class time, course time, not like done at home. It's actually class time. It has to be put into our scope and sequence. We also have some teaching advice on there, which is really good, and also some general teaching advice around HMS. So 2 documents, one around the collaborative investigation specifically, one just around teaching advice. Now, NESA talk about this collaboration inside that teaching advice document on the collaborative investigation, talking about the why. Why are we doing this research? Why are we doing this collaboration? Of course, we're thinking about real world application. We're thinking about preparing the kids for the future. We're thinking about, what it looks like outside of the classroom when they leave, collaborating, working with other people, problem solving, creativity, developing leadership skills, all that type of stuff. So it's really important that we're developing those skills with our kids from the beginning in HMS. Those deeper dives in investigation is all part of it. Now, also in some of those documents, NESA provide us with a bit of scope and support if you haven't really been used to collaborating in your classrooms. So, what you might do to ensure best practice with the kids. How do you set up boundaries and ground rules and groups? Do you have 4 to 6 people in a group? More than that. And looking at ways we can start to embed those practices in year 7 to 10, filtering into year 11 and 12, especially for that collaborative investigation in year 11. And obviously the depth studies, and inside our content, there is some investigation as well. So I've developed a whole heap of resources for you around collaboration, how you would best kind of set your class up, all those sorts of things. So they are already in the membership. I worked on those last year. And then something that we will obviously add to are templates and scaffolds that you can kind of use with the kids once they actually start their collaboration. Now, of course, you're not going to reinvent the wheel. If you're a PDHPE if you're a PE teacher who teaches CAFs, you can use the skills and the templates and all the things that you have already developed and then repurpose them for HMS. I said last night, and I keep saying this week, and I'm going to use this as a tagline, we're reimagining PDHPE inside our health and movement science syllabus. We're not completely changing it. It's not a whole new course. It's just been given a brand new title. Yes, we have new outcomes, we have new skills we have to teach, we have new content we have to teach. But let's maintain that core premise, that core of what PDHP has always stood for in past history. Let's still maintain that in health and movement science. The other thing that I want to kind of say out loud, I'm having these conversations with our members, is that I don't believe the collaborative investigation is too dissimilar to a teacher-facilitated IRP. I'll say it again. I don't think our collaborative investigation is too dissimilar to an IRP. Very, very similar. And what I would be doing if I was in the classroom is I would be using the same skills, the same approaches as what I do with a teacher-facilitated IRP with my collaborative, a bit of a tongue twister, collaborative investigation with my HMS kids. There is no point in reinventing the wheel. Use best practice, work together, work with your CAFS colleagues on this if you haven't taught CAFS before. Of course, using my 20 years experience teaching CAFS, you know, the best part of 13 years doing professional learning with you guys, creating networks with CAFS teachers, now inside the Learning Network for the last 4 years, my signature course, like this course that launched all of this from the beginning, is Strategic Approaches to the IRP. It is all around research and applying those research skills more effectively in the classroom. So of course, I'm going to give you all of that inside the membership. I'm going to give you all of that to make life so much easier for you. So you'll get done for your resources. You'll get templates and Google Docs that you can share with the kids, actionable items to help you really maximize what you do with the kids with the collaborative investigation. Okay, let's talk about the scope that we have inside the collaborative investigation. And we know that it's 20 hours of course time. We know that we have a lot of flexibility in where it sits in our scope and sequence. It has to be formally assessed though. You can't get out of it. Sorry. Like the IRP, we have to do this. But instead of doing it in year 12, like the IRP in CAFS, we do it in year 11. It has to be done in an individual and group component, which is very similar to what happens in a teacher-facilitated IRP. The kids are assessed individually. Okay, they still get their mark. They're also assessed in a group setting with the collaborative investigation. The outcome that must be assessed is HM for health and movement science. I would have loved to see the S anyway. HM-1105, so outcome 5 in year 11. Minimum of 20% of a weighting as an assessment for in class, or up to 40%. So it just kind of wherever you want to sit it. Obviously working on a focus area, focus content from year 11 only, and it can't overlap into a depth study that you do in year 11, in a depth study that you do in year 12, or potentially a depth study you might do in another course. You know, it could be like bio, CAFS, drama, geography, etc. So we have lots of flexibility, scope and sequence, assessment schedule, weightings, focus areas. Do we want to have a bit of a combo? Focus area 1, focus area 2 brought together. Do we just want to focus on focus area 1 or focus area 2? Completely up to you. It has to be presented in 2 or more forms of communication, not just written, not just oral, not just not just technology-wise, like a presentation, but a bit of everything. And NESA have given us lots of advice around like what are the elements of doing this collaborative investigation, like the step-by-step phases. There's 5 phases that we take the kids through. There's also like a proposal that the kids have to complete, a portfolio, hopefully finding an authentic audience to share their results. So there has to be some sort of primary research that happens in your collaborative investigation. It can't just be a deep dive as a case study. It has to be qualitative and quantitative data. So that means it has to be using numbers. That's the quantitative part of it. So numbers, trends, statistics. So that could be gathered through an interview, an observation, a questionnaire, and also qualitative, so questionnaire, interview, case study, experiment, etc. The kids also have to include a bibliography as well. So to our HMS members, we have lots of considerations, and we shared that in our masterclass last year. And I have lots of pondering questions for you to think about, because we do have lots of flexibility. And during our boot camp, we actually had a discussion around what that looks like. Like, what is it going to look like in your classroom? We had a bit of a brainstorm, and people were sharing some of the things that they want to potentially lead the kids into. And I say this coming from a really good space, because it's a collaborative investigation. I would recommend you steering the kids into a direction that you could potentially do as a class. It does talk about, like, it's based on what the kids' interests, but you as the educator should be guiding them along the way. I wouldn't be doing something that I am not familiar with to facilitate that process. Of course, the kids can choose whatever they like if you want to, but let's work smarter. Let's help the kids really strengthen some things that they potentially may want to focus on, or maybe dive deeper into something that you think could be explored. Those higher order thinking skills and higher order content will definitely help you. So things that I have been thinking about are like, say for the first unit, so focus area 1, you might do some research around the skills that young people think that they need to become more resilient, maybe to improve their health. How effective is young people's health advocacy in the community? What role do organisations play to advocate for the young health of people? What's been the most successful health promotion campaign to support young people across Australia? Those sorts of things. So using a local context is also a great way to go, because the kids are going to have to interview people. They're going to have to potentially send out questionnaires to people that they can contact. Of course, using a local community and then sharing that data with your local community, that's that authentic audience. So it's very much like project-based learning, but it's got a health and movement science spin on it. So I want you to be very confident in what you're doing, because it's not mammoth. There's a few changes that we have to make, a few different approaches, but don't be so stressed about what this could be like. In terms of other things that I've been thinking about with focus area 2, you could look at something to do with sleep and improve performance, maybe HIIT training, that type of thing. Looking at different things that you think will provoke and encourage a lot of discussion, and the kids really sinking their teeth into things. So working out what suits your kids and what they might be interested in. Now, inside our HMS membership, you'll also have access to a number of templates, resources, scaffolds around research skills. So, when we do the elements of a collaborative investigation, there'll be a list. There's an acronym I've already come up with. There's a process. So you'll have access to all of these templates, all of these activities to really make life so much easier for you when we tackle our collaborative investigation next year. Now, for some of you, probably haven't touched research skills for a very long time, but it's embedded in 7 to 10. But some of those concepts we might not have touched before. So going a bit deeper into, when we're doing when we're considering ethics, so ethical considerations, what does that look like on the ground? So you'll already have access when you join us inside the HMS membership templates and little cards and little teaching strategies that you can potentially use. So the kids know what those skills are. They know those terms as we're teaching and talking about it. Now, those terms aren't actually in the syllabus as such. It's more like a supplementary, so they know what they're actually doing. So I don't know if Nessa will bring out an exam specification around year 11. I would love to see that, because are we actually going to assess the kids on the research skills? I don't know, like we do with CAFs. We have a whole unit of work in CAFs that we have exams around and questions around, but I don't know if that will appear in year 11. So that's a collaborative investigation in a nutshell. I would love to hear from you. And I asked our HMS boot campers last night to brainstorm a whole heap of ideas that you think will be great for your class to tackle in the collaborative investigation that they might like to consider. And then let us know what your top 3 are. Like, what are your top 3 topics or focus areas that you're thinking about maybe steering the kids in the direction of that collaborative investigation? But as you know, or if you haven't seen yet, doors are open to our HMS membership, 12 months of support and beyond, hopefully, if you rejoin us for a second or third or fourth year, ongoing support. But I think the big one is saving you time with resources that you can literally pick up and use in your classroom the next day, and obviously next year when you join us. So if you have any questions about the membership at all, the learnnet.com/HMS is where you can check it all out. Obviously, we have some options for teachers if budgets are closed or school is saying no. There's a monthly version of the membership where you pay per month, like a gym membership, get to train with us, other HMS teachers. We also have our annual offer, and also a faculty version if you want your faculty to join us, if there are a number of you who are actually teaching HMS next year for the very first time. So again, message me on Insta, on Facebook, send us an email, or head over to the learnnet.com/HMS to check out what's involved. But I would love for us to get to about 60 or 70 teachers in this very first kind of starting point at this part of the year, because if we start now, we're going to make life so much easier for next year. All right, guys, have a great afternoon. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.